Okay, so my philosophy when I make music is I'm not about 40 tracks of a bunch of stuff going on. I like very simple, straight to the point stuff that gets right to the point. There's no hassle. It's very simple, bare bones, because I feel like the most simple music is the best music in my opinion. If you listen to like the most popular songs out there, they're usually very simple. And with that being said, I think the most important part in any song is the bass and the chords, and the way that the drums interact with them. And you may have noticed that song is kind of distorted around the drop. It's very crunchy. I do that on purpose. I might kind of go through how I do that. It's called soft clipping. If you guys have ever listened to anyone like Decap or anyone like in the Future Knock area, that's where I get that from. I just love that sound. Yeah, so let's just start with the chord progression. I want to kind of do a diminished chord, but I find that they work better in major keys, so I'm going to write a major key. I don't know, the only keys I know off the top of my head are C major and A minor, and those are the two easiest ones. C major starts on C, it's all the white keys. A minor starts on A, it's all the white keys. Simple as that. But the cool thing about it is if you take those, you move it up or down, you have a whole new key. You can do anything, so I'll just show you real quick what I mean. I went ahead and made like a really simple sine wave. That's like just real simple stuff. I gotta like get this right though. So I'm gonna make just I'll probably just do like 4 chords. Also, I usually work off a PC, so bear with me while I learn these chords or these shortcuts. So I'm gonna start with a major, C major. So this is what you can do. The pattern that you want to do when you make a chord is you want to go major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. That's what I found works the best. You can throw in like a major chord, minor chord, major chord, minor chord, and then maybe like a diminished, and then or all of the things like that. So I'm going to do, since I know all the notes in C major, I'm just going to write in C major real quick, so I don't have to worry about getting the right notes. So C major, if you guys look, it says 047. What that means? Do you guys have any idea what that means? Just by, do you have like an idea?
I just find I'm usually counting on 1 as a. I've never seen when you count bass from 0.
Exactly. So a lot of people do 1, 3, 5, and I learned that way after I got into this, and this has just stuck with me. But it's the exact same thing.
I like it.
Yeah. So 047, what it means is you start with your root. That's 0. 4 means go up 4, and then 7. The 7 will always be in every chord. That's your perfect fifth. It's the second most harmonic note to your root note. It's cool stuff. So I'm gonna do, since we're gonna go kind of jazzy, I'll do a major 7th. That kind of adds with the jazz stuff. So you do 047. So 0, 1, 2. Can you guys see that? 3, 4, and then 7, 5, 6, 7. So that's a C major chord. But the correct term is 1, 3, 5. It means this is your first note, this is your third note, and this is the 5th note of that scale. I just do it this way.
Well, it's the translation that you're avoiding the actual interval half steps.
Yeah.
The octave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Major third, minor fourth.
Yeah.
And you're skipping that.
Yeah. Because producers, a lot of producers are intimidated by music theory, and I feel like it really holds back your production and your music because you're making music. And I feel like it's just one of those things that blocks people, it intimidates them. It's super easy. It's way easier than it actually is. But I'm going to do an 11. I'm going to add the 11 on it, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's kind of dissonant, but not too dissonant. That's jazz, I want to say. That's kind of like, that's what I get from it. So that's a C major, and I'm going to do a minor. So what I usually do is I just duplicate it. I don't want to rewrite it. I'm going to do it the right way, so I don't. I want to say I'll start at E, so I'll do an E minor. So I'll do 0, 3, 7, 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. And then I'll go back to another major. The best major to go to on your third note is what I've discovered, is you do your perfect 5th note. It's like perfect 5th, the second most harmonic. So it's the second most harmonic chord in the scale. So you have your first one, second one, and then I'm going to take this one right here, and you can either go up 7 semitones or down 5 semitones. The reason why you can go down 5 is because if you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can push it down an octave, that's -5, technically. So So I'm just gonna do that, just 3 chords, just like that. And then I'm gonna duplicate it, go through one more time. I try not to have the chord progression doing 3 chords over and over throughout the whole song, throw in a couple things to kind of keep it interesting, and I do that by using diminished chords. This one I'm still trying to figure out where to put it, but what you do, I'm gonna have a diminished chord come in on this 8th bar right here. Actually, I'm gonna come in on the, hold on a second. I'm gonna cut it right there, and then I'll put a diminished chord. So diminished chord, I didn't put it on here, damn it. It's 0, 6, 9. So 0, 1, no, 0, 3, 6, 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But you usually want to go higher than the root. I want to say it's D probably. Yeah, okay, so this is what it sounds like, what I have so far. Sounds like lo-fi hip-hop kind of a little bit. It's got that kind of vibe going to it. But C major is really easy to do, and you don't want to only do C major, so let's try a different scale. This is all relative, so you can move it up or down. It'll stay in tune, it'll stay in key, it'll just have a different key. So the root is C, right? So I want to try, let's do F sharp major is a really cool scale. I put it like on my recommended ones. I just love it. So I'm going to move, the way I can tell if it's F sharp, because this C right here, that's the root note. We wrote it in C. So I can literally just move that up to F sharp. So pretty. It's pretty, right? It's pretty. I might just go down an octave though, since it's like a chord. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so I have that. I'm going to cut out the lows real quick. Super important. If it's not a bass or a kick, cut the lows out. I'll usually do it about, I think it's like, oh, way too high. Like 150-ish is usually where I cut. What's the next thing? So after I get the progression made, I will usually just work on the drums. Now I already picked out a pattern, so we don't have to go through that. So this is the kick. That's way too loud. Hold on. Snare. Also, I have a very specific taste in drums, and I think that's super useful as a producer, because I had this really big problem, and I'm just not getting over it, where I would make them really cool, but when it came to picking out the drums, the song would just fall apart because I would be so hung up on a snare or so hung up on a kick. So I ended up developing a taste of what I like, and now I just have a simple in my mind. So what I usually like to stick to is like very bare bones classic 808 Roland TR 808 stuff, especially the snare. Like Lex Luger, his kind of stuff's super good. Chef, I use a lot of his. There's another guy called I don't remember, but yeah, those kinds of things. You'll figure it out. His name is Sign. You guys definitely need to listen to him. I've just not got into him. He's incredible. And he has like sample packs, and I bought one of his packs. This specifically, worth every penny. It was like $20. It's not plain, but yeah, that's where I got it from. Check him out, love him, he's great. But okay, so now we got. cool. Now the next thing I usually will do is I'll work on, my music is super bassy, and like it's the 808, and like the sub is really important, but I get really scared about it, so I put it off as long as I can, and so I have to actually do it, because yeah. So I'll usually work on the hats next, and this is my secret weapon. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this, but there's this D down here. I don't know if you can, right there. That's called track delay. Have any of you guys ever messed with that before? It's awesome, especially for doing percussive stuff and like hi-hats, and you can even do like snares with it. I'll show you. So I'm just gonna do a quick eighth note hi-hat. That's all I'm gonna do. I'll probably throw in a couple of like little rolls, and then you just kind of do the velocity down a little bit. Yeah, so now we're just gonna, and then I'll probably do like that. Cool. Now, this is what track delay does. Milliseconds, it pushes it forward or back a certain amount of milliseconds. And it's really cool to do with hi-hats. I learned this from listening to Antidote by Travis Scott. That's like probably one of the best examples of what I'm about to do. Depends on the tempo. You got to figure out what your tempo is, and you got to figure out what a good speed is at that tempo. I usually work in 120 to 135, so when I do track delay, I usually do about 30 to 45 milliseconds. Sometimes a little bit more extreme. So I want you guys to listen to the difference between this real quick. So I'm going to do a track delay of 35 milliseconds. So this is the original. Do you hear how it's kind of dragging? It sounds very groovy. Remember, sounds, groovy. It's real groovy. And then now I'm gonna do the bass, I guess. But I'm just gonna do a simple, just 808 or just sub. I already made the patch. It sounds like. I should probably show you how I make these subs though. Just real simple. What I usually do is I will typically do a triangle wave instead of a sine. So just boom, triangle. Nope. And then so it sounds like. And then I'll low pass it. So it sounds a little gritty, but it's not like buzzing the whole time. It's not taking up a lot of the high ends. It's not distracting, it's just there. And then I'll bump the resonance around the area where the main part of the song is. I could actually, wait. So now that resonance peak's gonna follow whatever key I'm clicking on. And it's like these really subtle, but I think it sounds really good. And that's all I do. And then I always do mono with some legato, and I'll do some portamento. And then I don't know if I have time. Yeah, I should have time. I'll probably. Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do I just copied the chords. All these shortcuts I'm doing, you guys understand what I'm doing, or is this going way too fast? You guys see exactly what's going on? Okay. So I just copied over the chord progression. I'm gonna cut out all the top ones, just have the bass notes, root notes. And then I'll probably go down, I think 2 octaves. All right. I hate that hat. So I'm going to automate the pitch real quick to make it a little bit more interesting. Usually what I do is I'll actually cut the snare out, and then I'll add like some extra stuff, but that takes a little bit of time, so I'm just going to do it real simple, but I am going to automate the pitch. This keeps it really interesting. I'm trying to figure out if I can do it here. No, it doesn't let me do it. If there's an easier way to doing this, someone please tell me. I just group it, map, open it, pop.
Can you do it just in the clip? Or?
It doesn't, so I don't know what happened. Hold on 1 sec. 1 second. So I want it to only go up, so I'm gonna make this 0. So it used to be where you can move something and it'd pop up down here, and then you can just show MIDI a new clip, or you can show automation.
Press N to turn your MIDI keyboard off. Now press A.
Look at that. Okay, cool. All right. So there it is. That's down. Is it up? Oh, I have to move it. So Fishman. Okay, cool. Nah, I'll figure it out here in a sec.
It's funny because it's like the simplest thing is like the easiest.
Yeah, right.
It's just a button away, you know, and it's like, it's so frustrating because you can work on it for hours.
Is it a new thing they did in 10? Like the MIDI keyboard and like having to like turn it on and off?
The shortcut for the MIDI keyboard is now M.
Yeah.
And then there's a new view for audio.
When I first got 10, my MIDI keyboard was turned off and I tried to play some and I was like, well, I guess I can't ever play again. Like,
Yeah.
so I didn't realize that's what you guys
Because
did.
the MIDI keyboard is not you press A, you're just going to know A.
Right. I'm going to add some extra sidechaining under it. You guys know what that is? Sidechain compression. Okay, cool. Super easy. Just going to put it on my kick a little bit. I don't even know if this is enough. So... Good enough. All right. So I'm going to automate this bad boy. I just one control. Show automation new lane. So I have it to where 0 is regular note and then 100 is up 2 octaves. That's all it is. So I'm trying to find a good spot. Probably on that last note right there. If I can get it, there we go. I'll probably go. Where'd it go? And I'm sure I'm doing this like really weird. Okay, so the best part. Have you guys heard of a plugin called Arcade by Output? Get it. Like, get it. Like 100%. It changed. It's like the foundation of everything I do. Another thing, I try not to use as many third-party plugins as possible. I use Ozone, Serum, and Arcade, and that's it. Arcade I just use for vocals. That's it. When I make songs, I always try to have some kind of vocal element in it because I think it makes it a lot more personal, and human, and it sounds more like someone's there. It gives it a more emotional. It sounds more like music. So whether that being like just a quick sample, a lot of like dubstep usually is like the little drop sample they play right before the big thing, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to do this real quick. It's called Arcade. Essentially what it is that it's a sampler, but it cuts up the samples, and it's really, really freaking cool. There's a bunch of different lines. You can get it the free 30-day trial for this, and then it's only $10 a month after that. Super cheap, worth every penny. Arcade by Output, get it. So there's like all these lines, and these are just different things. Like this is like trippy synths and just like weird warp stuff, drums, hi-hats. I use Hooked a lot. So that's what where'd it go? Play. That's what this is. And so it's just a bunch of, hold on. It's just a bunch of loops that have been chopped up, and you can mess with them. That's all it is, right? So it's super cool. I don't know how to get this to go away, but yeah, it's very easy to use. So we wrote this in an F sharp major. So what you can do is up here where it has the key, you can click on it and click on F sharp major, which is E. No, where's F sharp major? Right there. So now it sounds like. Wait, hold on. Let me get rid of all these automations real quick. For controlling. That's all it is. I might make it go up an octave. We'll see. What sounds better? The higher one? Okay, let's do it. So now what I usually do is, cool thing about Ableton is that you used to have to record and then mess with it, but now it has this really cool button right here where it'll just remember the last thing you played. Oh man, it saved my life. So I'm just gonna like. Where did it go? There it is. So it saved some of it. Yeah, like that. All right. Cool. And so the way I did that is, have you guys ever used this feature before? Yeah. Is that what it's called? Is that what that feature's called?
Yeah.
Where it remembers it? Cool. If you guys haven't, it's this little square thing up here. To activate it, you just press play, and then you mess with something. It'll turn white, and then you just click it, and it remembers what you just played. So if you ever are like messing around, you're like, "Whoa, that was really cool, but I wasn't recording. I wish I didn't lose it." There you go.
Even if it's not playing, it'll still record it.
I didn't know that.
And if you don't set a tempo, it'll like find your tempo too.
Holy crap! Look at that. Sweet. That's probably my favorite feature about 10. Like that was like the one thing. Like I saw the commercial, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm upgrading." It was awesome. Yeah. All right. So I got 8 more minutes, right? Something like that. Is that good? Yeah, that's perfect. Quick soft clipping thing I like to do, like I told you guys. Easiest way to do this on my master. Some people say this is awful to do, but it sounds okay. I put the glue compressor on it. And it's all, every song specific, you gotta find the right spot. So you click on, because if you just do makeup, right, it's just gonna push it up and distort it. See the red lining? So what you can do is create like an artificial version of that sound by clicking the soft clip button. It's not really, usually it's crunchier. It just takes some messing around. Also the hi-hat like really affects the crunchy sound. Lots of splashes and open hats usually will get this really cool sound, but what I'm going to do is just turn this into a quick little beat real quick. So what I usually do is I'll just duplicate the whole thing and then start taking stuff out. So the intro is just going to be the chords. And then I have this clap sample. We'll let the drop come in with 9. So we'll do something like this. And I'll just get rid of that. And then, so what I'm gonna do actually is duplicate the vocals, and we're gonna do, we'll just do this. This is probably gonna be way too short. Cool, so I'm gonna have it to where the first part of the song is gonna play the higher ones, and then the second one's gonna play the low ones. I'm gonna do that the opposite way actually, because that usually gives it more hype. So just duplicate it, and then I'm gonna bring it back. And then I'll do So we'll go back and I'll turn it down an octave. Whoop. Takes a second to load. Take it back down an octave, so now it's a normal. So now it sounds like. Not yet. I usually use Serum FX when I'm doing like vocal, like different effects for just pretty much anything. I just find it easier than having a bunch of effects here. Every now and then I'll use it. So I'm just gonna use this real quick. And, there it is, like that. Cool, all right, awesome. So A, MIDI keyboard off, and then you press A. All right. I'm just gonna make it kind of a quick little thing. And 0. Okay, so this is what I got. Oh wait, it's not lo-fi until you do. Do you have any vinyl crackle on here? Oh man. Yeah, that's all right. So that's not bad for 30 minutes. So what I would do is I probably honestly wait a day. I try not to. I mean, if like sometimes you'll get like in the mode where you'll sit there and bust out a song in 4 hours. But if I'm not feeling like any idea what I want to do this, I'll just wait a day and then come back. Sometimes that'll bite me in the ass when I do that. But I would do other things like what you just saw me do, take out parts like that where the drums cut off. You don't want to have the drums going constantly the whole time. It just kind of builds. It's all about tension, let release, and tension and release. And I would do other things, like I'd probably do like a tape stop effect right here, right before the actual beat came in. And then I would probably have more hi-hats and have different parts. What I'll probably do, take this part and do like a little piano thing like in that first song you guys heard, or a little synthesizer thing. Have like a bridge, a long bridge, and then redo the whole thing and mess around a bit. Probably mess with the 808 and the sub a little bit more, because I don't like it when it plays constantly. I like the ones that fade out very short. But that's kind of my workflow. So if you guys like figured anything out from that, that's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Like seriously,
It's a silly shortcut question on your hi-hats. When you're in the MIDI editor, you just went over and clicked to your left to get those shorter notes.
Yeah. So what you do, instead of so these are eighth notes, right? Instead of you having to be like, oh, I want a 16th note right here, and being like, click, 16, draw, right? That actually sounds better. What you can do is you can actually select what you want to do, and this left one, divide by 2, means cut it in half, make it twice as fast, divide by 2, right? And then this other one, multiply by 2, makes it twice as long. And you can do that with anything, and especially like say like you have a cool chord progression and you want to make it shorter, you just literally boom. That sounds better. That actually sounds better, like that. And then, whoop, geez, Ableton. I'm really awful at. Nope. But yeah. Anyone else have any questions?
Do you ever use any of the MIDI effects?
Yes, a lot. Yeah, I use arpeggiator a lot. There's a preset on Chorus called Minus, and I use that a lot. I love that. It sounds really good on hats, actually. So without it, with it, I do use a lot of the audio effects. Like I'll usually use my most used ones, probably compressor, glue compressor. I use grain delay a lot. A lot of these I don't have because I have standard. All the panning ones I use. Anytime I want to make a tremolo effect, I'll use auto pan. Do you guys know how to do that in auto panning? Super good. I didn't discover that until a couple months ago, so blew my mind. But yeah, most of the stuff I do use at some point. But if it's something like a reverb and like I want to do a chorus, I'll usually just do it in the CRM-FX because it just keeps it more control. I get really distracted when there's a ton of stuff going on, and I also think it makes the routing, like the order in which you do it, I think it just is easier for me to understand. But I like Serum's reverb, but not its ping pong, like its delay. But I like Ableton's delay, but not its reverb. So if I ever need to use delay, I'll usually use Ableton's delay. Yeah. Cool.
I got a random question, actually for you and Seraphin. I was talking to someone the other day about like the glue compressor soft clipping, and someone was saying how like the soft clip on Saturator actually works better than the one on glue compressor. I don't know if it's like the glue compressor one's like
Probably.
a little leaky or something. I can't remember the reason why. I don't know.
They definitely will sound different.
Yeah.
I should try
Glue
it.
compressor is an analog model, cymatics made it, so it's going to sound like it's clipping from like an SSL bus compressor. Saturator sounds different because it's like a different,
Right.
it's a different device. But yeah, I've seen people use them both in the same way though.
Okay.
Sometimes I've seen people like taking a utility right before the glue compressor and then like drive the sound in the glue compressor with the utility.
I should try
control
that.
the amount of knock because of it. It's actually something I picked up from DCAT. So.
Well, this is what I got from Decap, yeah. He's also a huge influence on me. One thing, what I do is I use Saturator for mixing, and my biggest problem with mixing is that my mixes always come out really quiet, and I don't have nearly enough time to get into that kind of thing. But I found out one of the things that you get from that causes small mixes is if you have sounds that usually like at 24, but every once in a while you have like a random peak that goes up to like 12, it's gonna like compensate and make the mix quieter. So I usually, Saturator for whatever reason is really good at just taming the whole thing and bringing it to one level. You usually don't have to press anything, you just throw in Saturator and it fixes it immediately. So I use that in my mixing process, mostly, Saturator. But yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, try writing in these keys. These are my favorites, so try doing it. If you guys like really, really dark trap stuff, E minor is the way to go. But that's me. Cool, awesome.
Thank you.
Good.